what's brewing on Startup Street today. Hyper-local logistics startup Porter has successfully closed its Series F funding round that was led by Kedaara Capital and Wellington Management in a mix of primary and secondary exits to shareholders as well. Now, while the company did not disclose the amount, we do understand Porter has raised about $200 million at a valuation of close to $1.2 billion in this round. Now, Porter says it is going to use this money to expand operations across multiple cities for team expansion as well as for tech developments. But for more on this, joining me now is Uttam Digga, who is the co-founder and CEO of Porter. Uttam, congratulations on this large fundraising. You've not disclosed the amount, but could you give us any more details into how much of this $200 million was primary investment into the company and how much of it was actually just secondary exits by investors?
So, I think we have chosen as a policy not to disclose it, but I think both were significant chunks. So yeah, I think it's more or less, we would not like to disclose exactly how much was primary and how much was secondary.
All right. We will get back to that later. But, how will you deploy this money, which we understand is pretty large? How are you going to split it across key areas like, when you're talking about expansion, tech investments, what will you focus on?
So there are three primary areas where this funding would help us to go. One of the first is it would help us take our service to more users, which would mean we'll expand to more cities, more areas and geographies. Second, it would also help us enhance the service mix. So currently we cater certain user needs. It would also expand our association with user, where we will help to, where we'll add more and more service segment and help our users, SMEs, to move goods from point A to point B much more effectively. This funding would also help to build the density of the existing network far better, and which would help us to up the experience of our users. Because once you have a dense network, your fulfillment of service becomes better, your ETAs become smaller, and your price becomes better. So I think these are the key areas which this funding would enable us to do.
Okay, in FY24 was your last disclosed number. There was a jump in revenue to about 2,700 crores. You also managed to narrow losses. How did the year that's just gone by, FY25, shape up? And with this new money in your coffers for expansion, what kind of earnings boost should we expect going ahead?
So the growth momentum has been good for the last couple of years. If you look at our trajectory, Porter has been one of those brands which has not, it's like a marathon mindset where we have compounded consistently for last 8-10 years. We never had a phase where we have grown 10x in a year and then not grown year after that. So I think it's a marathon mindset. Typically, I think that mindset is going to continue. Can you repeat the question? Sorry, I missed the last part of the question.
Yeah, the other part of the question really was, what kind of earnings boost should we expect and how FY25 shaped up for you?
So in FY25, the same momentum continued. We have grown north of 50% last year. We were supposed to reach quarter level profitability in one of the quarters last year. We are happy to report that we have also been able to achieve that as well.
Okay. Uttam, there's been a lot of activity in this segment you operate in recently. I mean, you have players like Swiggy, Genie that are folding up services on one hand, and then today you have the likes of Uber expanding their courier services with Uber XL. Just give us a sense of what kind of opportunity you're seeing in this current environment to capture a larger share of the market. For instance, you've been expanding operations by running this intra-city courier service on two-wheelers. What more could we see from Porter?
So if you look at our current assortment of services, our objective is that anything which moves from point A to point B within a city, Porter should be the right company to enable that journey for SMEs and retail users. In our journey today, we have been able to, if you look at our monthly transacting base, it's already north of 3 million per month, and it's powered by roughly around 3 lakh gig workers who are depending on livelihood on us. And again, I think it's a fairly nuanced industry because goods movement is heterogeneous, and it's very important to solve for the right use cases, There are smaller shipments which require speed. There are bigger shipments which require handling. So it's a fairly nuanced industry, and one would understand the know-how to crack this well. Over the years, we have compounded well. It demonstrates that how we have understood the market well and how we have understood the use case of the users well.
All right, you've understood the India market, Uttam, but what about the other countries? There are 2 countries you've expanded to. What have you learned from those international forays, and does the funding signal a more aggressive global push or a deeper consolidation within India first?
So India remains our key focus area. We are committed to build the business more deeply and more extensively in various cities of India.
Okay.
International is again an important strategic bet for us. The markets which we are currently focusing in our international expansion are markets which has a very high SME contribution to their economies. These are typically developing countries or which has large trader communities. For example, markets like Dubai, Bangladesh has been good for us, and a couple of other markets which we are catering to, scouting to, and I think that's what our international plans is about.
All right, Uttam, we've run out of time. Just the final few seconds. What kind of emerging technologies, if you could briefly tell us, do you see fundamentally reshaping logistics in the next few years? And, how is Porter positioning itself in that?
So, again, we see a lot of use of AI, which would come in across tech platforms. How it would translate to us is that the way the customer books a vehicle today, I think that journey can be simplified with the use of AI. The way we allocate or find the right partner for the service can also be shaped with the help of AI. And again, I think whenever you have complaints and escalations, we have to take a lot of real-time decisions. I think those decisions can also be taken into consideration with the help of AI. The other thing which we feel, again, I think it's an opportunity area for us to become better. Today, when we move goods, there is, especially within a city, you need a full truckload which goes from point A to point B. One of the things which we are chasing in order to make our service much more affordable for our users is how we can make sure that can we club goods of 2 users into 1 vehicle as a pilot, and this would help to reduce prices further for our customers.
So bring in more efficiency through AI. Uttam, on that note, thanks very much for your time here today on CNBC-TV18. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity.